Let's get into it. I just want to let you guys know I'm going to have a meltdown. May I have a meltdown? In this episode of the JRE, that is how this gentleman right here starts the conversation. So I'm just going to show you that clip really quick just because I thought it was funny. But then we're going to get into him talking about proton mail being censored, okay, on Google. Then we're going to get into his TDS, which I think is the thing holding him back the most. And then we're going to end it off with, we're going to end it with the TDS. Then we're also going to touch on the fact that he's covering the wrong material. You know, I know a lot of people aren't going to like what I have to say about this guy, but I think he doesn't understand the internet the way we all do, and he understands it in a different way, a more technical way, due to the research he's been doing. But he needs to understand it the way that all of us understand it in order for him to actually make some progress. And I'm telling you, the guy has TDS, and that's the saddest part of this whole thing, because who better to help him than Trump? Anyways, let's get into this little funny intro.
I am stressed out. In fact, are we recording?
Yes.
Okay, then I want to make a special request.
Okay.
You can kick me out if you like, but I
Why would I do that?
Because I need to have a meltdown. I would like to have a meltdown right now on your show.
You want to have a personal meltdown?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody plan for a meltdown before.
Well, I need to do this, and I think this is the right opportunity.
Okay.
And I don't know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But I am definitely going to melt down.
Okay.
Okay. So I am completely fed up. I have worked day and night. I work about 80 hours a week.
Now, I'm sorry to cut it off there. That's all I wanted to show, really. He ends up being one of the most polite guests that Joe Rogan's ever had, okay? Let me just break it to you. He doesn't break out a mace and start throwing it around. He doesn't break anything. He doesn't bang on the table. He's the most polite person. He doesn't realize that we're an audience that has watched Eddie Bravo choke out Alex Jones on this podcast. He doesn't understand what show he's on. You know, he probably caught some episodes with like Eric Weinstein. He's like, intellect. Buddy, you're on JRE, bro. Don't put our hopes up like that. Now let's get on to the clip where he's he's talking about proton mail being censored by Google. And then Joe Rogan live decides, let's test your little theory. And the results are not that great.
Somewhere, or will show someone something, it checks for the blacklist first. And if you put proton mail on the blacklist, it's suppressed and it doesn't appear.
Well, let's look for it right now. Jamie, do me a favor, please, and pull up Google. Obviously, this is happening before the podcast is released, so they can't correct this because they didn't know you were coming on. They didn't know we were talking about this. So let's pull up Google real quick and put it up on the screen. And, okay, you already Googled it. Just let me see. Okay, right away it shows proton mail. And then below that, it shows proton account, sign in. You use the Proton VPN. So how is it suppressing? This is not suppressing at all.
Okay, now this is where my staff has warned me, don't be condescending to Joe Rogan.
How is it condescending if I'm just asking you a question? You could just give me an answer.
No, I know I could, but I was about to be condescending.
Well, why would you be condescending if this is the question? This is the question.
For
proton
goodness
mail,
sake.
Do the Google search.
Okay.
And then right away, the first thing is proton mail.
Okay, but you're pushing me back into meltdown mode. I'll tell you why.
Well, tell me why.
Because what account is this?
Jamie's account.
It's Jamie's account. If you actually want to know whether they're suppressing proton mail, you have to look over the shoulders of a large representative sample of people. You can't just look at Jamie's account.
So you think that Jamie's account is curated to not hide proton mail?
Well, of course it's curated.
Well, technically, this is not my account.
Whoever's account it is, they know
I use.
whose it is, and they know how it's used. And remember, since all content is personalized, that means it's a very simple matter for them. And they have algorithms that do this.
Okay, well, we can do a real quick experiment. We won't get the results right now, but we will get the results from the future. So I'll ask the audience to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary folks out there, please go to Google and type in proton mail and screen record this and then upload this. Upload this to X, upload this to Instagram, upload this to Facebook and TikTok and all that. And I'd like to see what the results are.
You are going to get clean results because they know every single viewer, listener that you have. So they can, as I was told this literally by Zach Voorhees, whom you may have heard of. He's one of the most prominent whistleblowers from Google. They can turn bias on and off like flipping a light switch.
So you think they look for someone who listens to podcasts and they don't have bias towards them?
I'm saying I'm just going to say what I said before. The only way to know what they're really sending to people and they're not messing around,
right, is
to look over the shoulders of people that they cannot identify and who are representative of the American population and see what. And I'm going to show you over and over and over again. I'm going to show you what they're actually sending when we look at things. When we collect data in a scientifically valid way that is so that the data are court admissible. I will show you what they're actually sending to people.
So you have shown that if you collect data in this scientific way, that they suppress proton mail?
We haven't looked at that. We could look at that very easily.
Okay. Do you understand, though, that you're saying they suppress proton mail, and then we're saying, let's see if they suppress proton mail?
No.
They didn't.
You misunderstand. I'm telling you that early on, Proton Mail has written essays on this. Okay, I know Andy Yen, who's the founder and CEO, and in the beginning, when Google was trying to completely put them out of business, they published a lot of blogs on this. They sued them in court. They did everything they could possibly do, and they had overwhelming evidence that Google was trying to.
Okay, Proton Mail sued Google, or Google sued Proton Mail?
Proton Mail sued Google.
And what was the accusation?
That they were suppressing content, Proton Mail content, so that people would not know that they exist.
Yeah. So here's the thing with that. I actually did this because why not? Proton Mail popped up for me. Now I will say, I'm calling BS on what he's saying, but I also know for a fact that this happens because I'm somebody who is a Trump supporter, and when you're a Trump supporter and you're trying to find positive things about Trump, good luck. It is very hard. You have to search for a very long time. You got to go to the 5th and 6th page. If you're on any search engine, really, it's I haven't found any search engine that will just give you straight positive things about Trump after something positive has happened. Just note that, okay? After he's done something positive, after he has some kind of positive press. Coming back after, not dying from an assassination, standing tall through it, speaking at the RNC, talking about unity. Try and find that. The day that it happens, nothing. The day after, nothing. You have to actually go find the video and find the part, and it's actually crazy. So I know that this happens, but this did not happen with this. And honestly, the only thing I've ever had trouble finding in my time was during the pandemic. Hard to find a lot of things, and you guys know exactly what I mean, and looking for Trump stuff. That's it. That's all I've ever had issue with, really. I mean, I don't use this search engine, but still, this is the only thing, And here's the thing, though. I don't know if you guys know this. Elon Musk does this as well. I'm going to move on to the next clip. Elon Musk actually does the exact same thing. There's a company called Substack, and if you post a Substack link, and if you post a YouTube link, I actually found out the hard way. If you post a YouTube link on X, he makes sure that it doesn't pop up. You're not going to get seen, actually. I did not know that. Something I had to find out the hard way. But yeah, Elon Musk does this. This is actually a thing that he does to people. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Should Google, because Proton is a mail. I don't know if you know what Proton is. It's like the way you have Gmail, you'll have Proton Mail, right? So should Google put them to the top? Should Google actually have to show them? I don't know, but they do. at the same time, now this guy's like, oh no, you have to look at millions of people, so I'm not wrong, and this is silly what you're doing because it's Jamie's account. It's like, well, whose account are they censoring when they search Proton Mail? I don't know, but I have this kind of way with this guy because of the next clip. I don't like the way that this guy's operating, just in the political sense. I gotta show you guys this clip. This is the next clip. So just know his life work has been about exposing search engines. Okay? Now, who is the politician who gets censored the most when it comes to search engines? Say it with me. Trump. Who's the politician that could probably help him the most when it comes to this whole search engine thing that he's been working on? Probably Trump. But this is what he has to say. Let's get into it.
That one?
This one.
Okay.
If you can enlarge it and scroll down. So these bars aren't just bars. These bars are summarizing content. Thousands and thousands and thousands of web pages that they're sending people to.
And so they're sending people mostly, are you saying right-wing centered content?
Well, look at the stuff.
Well, one of them is CNBC. Elizabeth Warren wants more student loan borrowers to know bankruptcy is easier now.
Mm-hmm. But when you average these, that's what we're doing. When you average them, we're looking at literally millions of these experiences, and we average them, then you end up with a shocker in her case. They're actually sending conservatively biased content when people are looking for information on Elizabeth Warren. They want her gone.
Elizabeth Warren and anti-crypto movement losing their battle, according to former CFTC chairman report. So that's an anti-crypto movement. That would definitely be more of a right-wing bias. Warren proposes jail time for corporate greed in healthcare. That would be a negative that would be more progressive, right? She's trying to eliminate corporate greed in healthcare. 3 Republican Senate candidates are competing to take Elizabeth Warren as the Mass GOP fights for relevance. Okay, so the way they're framing that, fights for relevance, is interesting. That's a little bit biased. Senator Warren is way off on raspberries and Americans' living standards. Okay, that's certainly a negative article, likely. Warren calls for Fed Powell's weak need on bank rules. Democrats want to tax your home, your retirement, your everything. That's a negative one. Senators Warren and Marshall pose questions to Biden officials about the use of crypto to evade sanctions. So that's going to get the crypto bros after her. We don't charge people for air. We shouldn't charge for water either. A new tax bill from Elizabeth Warren to Ro Khanna seeks to ban the trade of water futures. Let's go one step further. That seems like a progressive cause.
When you put these all together, because we're showing you means,
right.
What we're showing you is the mean, the overall mean. Now, you would expect for Elizabeth Warren to get 3 blue bars, but we're getting 3 red bars. That means they're sending on average, highly conservatively biased stories to conservatives, which makes sense, to moderates, well, one could argue, but also to liberals. They're sending those to liberals.
She's a problematic person to search anyway because she's kind of a fraud, right? Like, especially with I don't want to say she's kind of a fraud. Let me say it better. She has been accused of lying about her ancestry, and then she did it for benefit, and then she did it to get into Harvard. She did it to get jobs, and then she had that challenge with President Trump, and then it turns out she has a small fraction. Like I think I'm 100 times more African American than she is Native American, something like that.
Let me explain.
I might have made that up.
Let me explain. Okay,
please explain.
All right. These aren't just graphs. These are graphs summarizing a massive amount of data that's being sent to directly to the computer screens of registered voters.
I totally understand that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, with someone like her, it might be difficult to find positive stories.
Oh, no. Because we have so many examples of these things now that we can find whatever it is. But here's the point.
Okay.
We can adjust what we're looking for. We can not only look back now in a database that we've been building over a year, but we can adjust what we're looking for going forward.
So if a person wants to break up Google like she has publicly stated, they're like, okay, well, we will target you with our search algorithm. We will make sure that people are getting more negative stories about you than positive stories, and we will have a bias that leans towards these negative stories to everyone, to liberals, to conservatives, to independents.
And that has very little impact on people who have already made up their mind, but people who are still making up their mind,
which is a lot of people in this country,
easily shifts between 20 and 80%
Right.
of those people, the undecided voters, like that.
Have you?
Now, here's the thing with what he's saying about Elizabeth Warren. He's saying that conservatives are getting negative stuff about her. That makes sense because that's what conservatives are looking for. I'll be honest, and I'm honest about my biases all the time. If I'm looking for Elizabeth Warren stuff, I'm skipping the part where somebody says, oh, here's an article about the nice thing she did for her niece on her birthday. I'm skipping that. Let me find the thing where she lied about being Native American. I want more of that. Where's that? What did she say? I want a bunch of that. So it makes sense that conservatives are looking for that. So they're going to look for. Now, for it to be showing to moderates and liberals, it's because liberals are going to get mad when they see that content. And this is what I mean by he doesn't understand that part of the internet. Of course, they're going to show liberals negative things about Elizabeth Warren. They don't want the liberals to be happy, because if you read a happy article, as a liberal person, if you read a happy article about her, you'd be like, oh, well, there you go. That's Elizabeth Warren. She's great. And you'd keep on going. That's not what they want. They want engagement. So they want that liberal person to click on the conservative media and look at that media and say, damn these people, and put a comment if they can, or find them on something else and search their Instagram or search their Twitter and type something else to them. That's what they want. That's the lifeblood of the internet. Sadly, the lifeblood of the internet is hate. Not always. Sometimes it's just general curiosity. But in recent times, in the past, I would say, I don't know, seven years, it's become a lot of hate. It's become a lot of, Facebook feeds on that as well. They show you things that you don't like because they know you'll engage with the things that you don't like. And this is the part that he's missing. He doesn't understand that. So he's looking at that going, oh, well, why would they show it to a liberal person? They're trying to get Elizabeth Warren out of office. Now, for everybody who's conservative who's watching this, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Google's on the side. Google's trying to get rid of a Democrat? Do you have any idea how much they lobby and who they're throwing their lobby money at? They're her side, and they're going to get rid of her? You're crazy. That's what a conservative's going to think. With this next clip that I'm going to show you, you'll find out quickly this gentleman is not, and I repeat, is not a conservative. Let's move on to the last exhibit here.
Probably the Trump administration would be
kind of crazy, but does it affect my life? No, it doesn't affect my life, because I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what, or I'm going to vote Republican no matter what, and this is my feeling on the First Amendment, this is my feeling on the Fourth Amendment, and people already have their opinions. And so for most people who are busy with their lives, their families, and work, they haven't made an adjustment because they don't feel it's necessary for them personally.
Fine.
But you're not.
But
what you're doing is not futile.
But what?
It's very important.
I don't see that, because I see it as more and more futile. Now,
It's not, though. It's not. We just need to do more of these.
Okay, so for us to set up this nationwide system, in which at the moment, as I say, we are drawing data 24 hours a day. If you go to americasdigitalshield.com, you can actually watch the real-time dashboard, and you'll see the data coming in. It's pretty cool. In fact, I was hoping we would break 100 million by the time you and I got together, but we're close. We're up to 99.3 million. And next week, we'll break 100 million. So you see the data come in. You can see the bias.
Oh, there it is. So these are all these experiences captured, shining a light on big tech's dark secrets. Hey, gents. Revealing real-time ephemeral manipulation. Big tech companies use ephemeral content such as search results, go vote reminders, and video recommendations to rig our elections, indoctrinate our children, and control our thinking. We are now preserving this kind of content for the first time ever to give our courts and our nation leaders the evidence they need to force these companies to stop their manipulations. Now, who do you think would be more responsive to you discussing this? Do you think it would be the Donald Trump administration or the Kamala Harris administration?
I'm afraid to answer that question, because I am no fan of Donald Trump, but probably the Trump administration would be more sympathetic.
Why do you think that?
Well, because
Because you think it's more biased towards Republicans, or against Republicans, rather?
No, it's because I had a 4-hour dinner with Ted Cruz, private dinner, and we just talked tech for 4 hours. We never talked politics because that would have been a disaster. But the point is that he was struggling. He's like you in some ways because you want to understand things. I can see all the gears moving as you're just trying to. I want to understand this. Mm-hmm. And he's like that. So that's why the dinner went so long, because he was trying to figure out, what can we do? What can we do? And at the end, he basically said this. No, he didn't say we're screwed. No, but he basically said we're screwed. He said the Democrats are all in the pockets of these companies, and the companies not only give them tremendous amount of money. I mean, Google, Alphabet was Hillary Clinton's largest donor in 2016. So there's a tremendous amount of money. They're the biggest lobbyists in Washington. He said, and they also apparently, according to your research, send them millions of votes. He said, so forget the Democrats. He said, and Republicans don't like regulation. He said, and unless we can get together, unless there's bipartisan action, there'll never be any action. That's it. That's where we left it. And nothing's going to change that I can see in this country.
As long as it's still benefiting the Democrats and they still contribute to the Democratic Party, I doubt you'll see any movement.
Right. So So I'm back to my griping then, because So what do I do? Now let's talk about money, because a lot of this is about money, and Google is all about money. So if we're talking,
So I just want to go through this really quick. So this guy knows that the Democrats are in the pocket of these search engines, of big tech. He understands that completely, okay? But also, in the same breath, will say, no, these search engines are not more biased towards Republicans. As somebody who uses these things for hours every single day, I can tell you he's 100% wrong. He is 100% wrong. Just straight up. Just someone looking for Trump. Then I have to go. And then also, just back to the Elizabeth Warren thing, they're getting rid of her and also giving her money, which is completely possible. Completely possible. But come on, man. You got to really think about what you're saying. And then you have to think, Trump is the one who can help the most, okay? Trump is the one who he should be studying, because if he can show this same data with Trump, how many millions of people are going to want to take notice about what he's talking about? And also are going to have the shared experience. They're going to go, yes, 100. I have felt this 100 times over. This gentleman is 100% right. Trump can help him. Trump's base, the MAGA base, conservatives, Republicans, could help him as well. They care about this topic. They very much care about this topic. And Trump could actually help him get the conversation started in a way that he needs it started. But he's not bringing it. He's not studying Trump, not because he doesn't think Republicans are censored more. And Trump is the most censored person in the world currently. I mean, more than Andrew Tate at this point. It's crazy. You search his assassination at one point and it wouldn't even come up. They'd show you Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult for Donald Trump there. But he's the most censored person. He's the person who can help this guy the most. Obviously, this is where this guy's study should be pushed towards the most, because then that could get put in front of Congress. They could actually say, we have results that you're censoring a presidential candidate. The guy doesn't do it because he doesn't like Trump. TDS, gentlemen, ladies, TDS, it affects people in the worst way. This guy can't possibly see past that because he's a firm, very left-leaning person. Absolutely ridiculous. Might have elements of libertarian in him as well, but for the most part, you're searching Elizabeth Warren and you're like, let's expose how they're censoring Elizabeth Warren. That's absolutely ridiculous. And that's just, I went through about an hour of the episode and I'm like, this guy he understands the internet in a way that most of us will never understand the internet. But the way that we all experience the internet We make this, we do the searches. We look for Trump stuff. We look for Kamala Harris stuff. I search Trump and Kamala Harris pops up before Trump does. This is an easy thing for this guy to grab hold of. And he's not doing it because he doesn't like Trump. It's so sad what TDS does to people, folks. It's so sad what TDS does to people. I'm going to go through the rest of the episode. It is very interesting work, and he's 100% right. And I didn't need a scientist to tell me this because I use search engines every single day, and I notice. That's why, honestly, I don't know about you, I use Twitter as a search engine. That's what I started doing, and it works incredibly. In my opinion, that's all I've been doing. And honestly, the audience, so many of you guys send me emails about certain things, and I search that up and I find stuff like, just, I do that. I'm doing that, you know? But just the fact that this guy doesn't realize what he needs to be doing, doesn't realize Republicans are the more censored people. You think AOC is censored? You think Nancy Pelosi is censored? Are you crazy? Oh my gosh. It was just that I just found that just from an hour of the episode. I'm like, this is so disappointing, this guy. So disappointing. I'm going to go through the other hour and a half, but just that alone, it's like, come on, man. I don't even know what the title of this episode. I don't know if I should talk about the meltdown as the title or if I should talk about the TDS as the title. Because that's the saddest part, is that this guy doesn't understand. Just do exactly what he did for Elizabeth Warren. He had charts on Elizabeth Warren. Oh, he was showing these red lines and all this stuff. He was in-depth research into Elizabeth Warren. Do that for Trump, everybody's talking about it. Do that for Trump. There's not a person who's a Trump supporter. I mean, this guy, Trump has almost 100 million supporters. I mean, let's be real. You know, people are talking about neck and neck and 80 million, maybe he'll get 70 million. This guy has 100 million supporters. That would be 100 million people who would want to know about your research. But I'm no fan of Trump. I'm no fan of Trump. Oh my God. Anyways, guys, that's what I got for you today. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps us tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.